Islam. First, I give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. I give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and honor to all prophets of Allah. I give honor to Brother Marcus Garvey, the forerunner to the prophet. I give honor to all past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators of the Moorish Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakey Bey. I give honor to our past Grand Sheik and moderator, Brother R. Love Ill. I give honor to our present Grand Sheik and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey, and to his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to all our members, our viewers, and our media team. I give honor to my sisters on the panel, and I give honor to our good sister who is not with us this evening, Sister T. Britt Bay, who also had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, sis. Welcome back to Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk. Tonight's topic is blocking out the noise. I am Sister Ingrid Ill from Temple 71, Washington, D.C. Peace.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I like to rise and give our praises to Allah, honor to our holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to all of the viewers, the listeners, honors to my beautiful co-host, honors to Sister T. Burt Bay, praise Allah for her, and honors to the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America, honors to each and every one of you. Islam. This is Sister Tiffany Hopkins Bay out of Temple number 11, Philadelphia, PA.
Islam. First, I give rise and give praise to the great God of the universe, our Father God Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honor where everything that the sister said before me. Birthday shout out to our dear sister T. Britt Bay. We love you. We miss you. Take care of yourself. Special honors to the show, which is entering season 8. And so for all of our viewers, thank you for being a part of this journey and bringing other people with us. I give honors to you because when man honors man, he's honoring Allah. And so we're going to start this. My name is Sister A. Raven Obey from Temple number 21, Brooklyn, New York. And let's get ready to have this conversation about blocking out the noise.
So did anybody want to go first? I didn't want to just overstep. So what does blocking out the noise mean to you?
I mean, I'm happy to start. For me, blocking out the noise is the distractions that I get when I have a path, when I'm on my path of doing something, and then all of a sudden, all these things, thoughts, other people's messages, my own messages start to come in and take me off my path, And so to me, when I think of blocking out the noise, it is for me to be able to block out all the internal, external dialogue that's nothing to do with keeping me on my path, including my lower self, other people's thoughts, which might be well-intentioned, but sometimes it can be noise if it's not really aligned for what I need to do, and then it gets me distracted. So that's what I think of all the noise, taking me away from my path.
For me, I'm in a line with the sister. A lot of times the noise be my voice, pulling me in different directions, and I just say, hey, talk to me just like that. Hey, not today, and let's try not tomorrow too, because thoughts come, they come. Now, what we do with them is what we do with them is what's important, because they're going to come in. It's how we navigate them, and do they have any saving power? Peace.
Praise Allah. And I agree with you both. I feel like I definitely agree with the noise definitely comes from me. Um, it is my own voice and thoughts that create the noise. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't allow unnecessary things to rent space in your mind, then they won't. So it is up to you and us being creators and creating our own. You create that state of heaven or hell for yourself. So therefore, when things are going on and you allow that to take you away from what you're supposed to be doing, that's definitely on you. So I think for me, noise can be just unnecessary things, stuff that has no worth or value. To me, that's what the noise is. It has no purpose. Islam.
That's great, sis. Um, I'm gonna throw my question out here, which is, tell me about a time when the noise took over. Because sometimes we could block it out, and sometimes, at least for me, sometimes it seeps in. Tell me about a time, and how did you deal with that?
I think that happens. I think if we're truthfully speaking, that happens all the time. You know, um, man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. So therefore, there are times when I'm gonna speak for me. The lower self will creep in, and I have to decide whether or not I'm gonna let that lower self, act up, or I'm gonna try my best to say my prayers and call on my higher self to show up. Um, and it's deep because when we talk about when we talking about the higher self and the lower self, that is you, that is within you. You know whether or not you want to come up out of it. You know, and you can feel it. And my lower self is strong. Um, it's deep, but my higher self is stronger. So, you have to be able to pull yourself up out of it. And sisters, believe me when I tell you there are more experiences than I like to admit. But praise the Lord for sincerity that the lower self or that noise took over. I'll just share a brief situation. Um, and I don't know if this was necessarily noise, but I felt like it needed to be addressed. So sometimes I have my daughter, my 12-year-old, work in the front of our store, and there are times when we have some of our brothers and sisters that just do not know what to say out of their mouths, especially to children.
Hmm.
And there's this one sister who she calls and she puts in her order, and she gives my daughter is 12, she gives her such a nasty disposition. And the first time I just let it go. The second time we had to have a conversation face to face. And I just explained to her, I said, and I was very pleasant about it. But sometimes I think when you don't get a certain response where people understand where you're coming from, it feels like, did everything you just say, was that off or not? Because they didn't get it anyway.
Hmm.
So I just explained to the sister, I said, my daughter did not have any harmful intentions with she doesn't know what you normally order because she's not normally here when you order. And I said she didn't have any harmful intentions with trying to serve you. She was just trying to serve you, and she didn't know whether you didn't want this or didn't want that. She doesn't know you. And I said, in spite of all that, she's only 12 years old. And she's treating you like you're her child.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
But you know me and my husband, so you can always ask for us. And sisters, I'm gonna tell y'all, I said it just as nicely as I'm talking right now. And she was just like, oh, okay. Like it was no big deal to her. And it was like, you have insulted this girl several times. So praise Allah for having
Mm-hmm.
patience and being of peace, because I felt like it had to be said to her, but it had to be said to her in a way that demonstrates the characteristics of a Moorish American Muslim. And so that she knows when she comes in here, you don't meet rudeness with rudeness. Still, when you come in here, regardless of how mean and rude you were, you're still going to be met with kindness. But you're going to still have that discussion. We're going to have that conversation, because my baby did not deserve for you to be mean to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a sense, that could be noise, because it's like she still didn't get it. But at the same time, I felt like it had to be said. So for me, that was the time when I let the noise take over. Praise Allah.
I don't know. Since you created boundaries for me, I think she needed to know what the boundaries were and how she needed to respect um your daughter, but anybody, you know what I mean?
That's
It's
right.
to me, it's even worse that it's your daughter because she's so young and impressionable, but that's how you're supposed to treat people. Kindness,
Right.
courtesy, respect.
Across the board. Yeah.
Mhm.
Across the board. And I wanted to say, sometimes you want to say to people, as a older person, what are you demonstrating to the youth out here?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you just angry for no reason, and by all means, I don't know this lady's situation. I have no idea what she could be going through. What I do know is she works right next door to us, so she comes over for lunch. But my thing is, when everybody that comes to us, we feel like family. That's because we greet you. Hi, how are you? How are you doing? And we truly care. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, sometimes you can't. Sometimes they need to know not to or need to know how to block out the noise, because if it's taking you to that point where you struggling that bad that you just mean and unjust to people, come on. Come on. We could
Yeah.
do better.
Yeah.
We could do better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Praise Allah.
There was, and thank you for sharing that, sister. Because when my daughter was 12, I would have definitely not handled it like that. But I ain't know the prophet either. You know,
Right.
um, I'm not, so far along that I may not do that now. I'm just being honest. Somebody was talking greasy, what it seemed like to my daughter or my grandbaby. I don't know. I would like to think that I would handle it in love, with
Right.
love, like I've been instructed, like I would want to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you might catch me when I just hurt my back the day before and I'm still feeling it. I don't know. But anyway, what was your question, sister?
No worries.
Yeah.
I want to tell me a time when the noise took over.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what happened?
I just wanted to hear how it was worded. Yeah, so I was in Target and I was in a relationship with one of the brothers, and I can't remember what the conversation was. We were on the phone and I can't remember what the conversation was, but his response, or the nonchalant attitude he had about it, just sent me out there. I went from 0 to 100 in a matter of moments. And I was in the checkout to the point where I threw everything down. I left everything there. I'm screaming and hollering on the phone. And I looked, and it seemed like everybody in the store was frozen and looking at me.
Mm.
And I said, Allah, please help me. I'm losing it. And I hung up the phone. I literally ran out the store, down the escalator, down the sidewalk, into the subway track. The train pulled right up because I was still feeling it. Allah, please step in. Please step in.
Mm-hmm.
And when the doors opened, our national chairman, Brother Peach Isil, was sitting on the train.
Wow.
Thank you, Allah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And I sat
Whew.
down and immediately I felt my heart because it felt like it was coming out of my chest. And I
Mm.
felt it calm down and slow down. And I said, you don't know how good it is to see you because I was gone. But I knew that I was out of pocket. I caught myself. But whoo,
Mm.
I mean, when you sincerely call on him, he will answer. I'm telling
That's
you,
right.
that's enough.
That's
Wow.
right. That's
That right.
powerful. That
You
is
know what I mean?
powerful.
Allah sent him that the train at your stop when the doors open. That's
I
Woo.
mean, got right down at the bottom step. The train was coming. The door opened up, and he was sitting right there. I
Mm.
walked right into him.
Mm.
I mean, that was a blessing to me.
Right.
It saved me from myself because who
Mm.
knows how else I would have performed on the
mhm,
way home.
mhm.
Yeah.
That
Allah
is a
searched
blessing.
exactly what you needed when you needed it. You
That's
asked, and
right.
he came.
It's a perfect example of that.
For
Praise
sure.
Allah.
Well, I'll just say my example when the noise took over. So I had to check it. You know, you mentioned it before, but the noise really for me sometimes is just it's my own internal noise. You know, I'm trying to get a plan together, and I was trying to there was the other day, and I was feeling overwhelmed because there was just so many things I was trying to manage. I'll tell you a little bit this already about this, Sister Real, but I was like, no, I need to write down the list and stay focused to keep myself focused. And I felt really good in that moment. I was like, okay, I'm in control. I feel like I got this. And then there go the noise again. But you sure you got it? Well, you sure that's important? Well, what about this? What about that? You sure you got to get that done? Don't your daughter need you to take you here? Like all this other stuff
Mm,
in my head was questioning what I already needed to do. And I already knew what I needed to do, but it got me distracted. And that sometimes will come up, I feel like for me, even in meditation,
Mm.
where I'm like, okay, I need to sit down and meditate, particularly when there's a lot more that I have to do, or I feel like there's, between the children and work or other responsibilities, and all that stuff is in you. And then I just thought, okay, I'm gonna just meditate for 7 minutes. I'm 7 down for 7 minutes. And those are the
Mm.
hardest 7 minutes because it just, it starts popping back up. And then I'm like, okay, I see you. I'm letting it go. I'm trying to focus. I see you. I'm trying to let go. And um, sometimes it breaks me, because I'm like,
Mhm.
it throws me off. And I do that list because the day before that, I was like, I got too much to do. And I started crying, I was like, my knee not working, this isn't that, and then you get overwhelmed. And then that's where the stress,
Mhm.
anxiety, all this stuff. And it's like, that was noise I allowed to get in. It didn't need to go in. It didn't need to come in. And yet I allowed it to come in. I didn't put it in check. So I have to remind myself of that, you know, you stay on the path.
That's deep because praise Allah for what you just said. Because my next question topic was, how do you deal with overwhelming feelings or pressures of the noise that excuse me, of the noise that may be within or external? Um and you just saying how you meditate, praise Allah for that. I think that that is I admire those who get the opportunity to do that, to just be able to sit and focus. And like you said, it is very, very hard to do. Um, I think for me, sitting still is hard to do. Like, I think for the past month and a half, I've been back and forth dealing with my primary care physicians and um hematologists and stuff like that. And they're like, um, you're gonna have to sit, you're gonna have to like sit down, and it's deep. So I've been having to go get my iron infusions, and you have to sit for like 3 hours. That is so painful for me. It's not the getting the iron infusion, it's the sitting and staying still. Oh my goodness. It's hard. And so what I was doing, so I had to do this twice so far, and I was just sitting there. Like one day I was writing stuff. Um, then I was like listening to music, and I realized that music helps me focus on like positive. Like
Mm.
when I'm in my groove and I can, listen to what I want to listen to, it helps me focus. And then I also felt like writing helped a little bit for me. Um, and then it was deep because I took a moment to pray, especially with my first infusion, because I just was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how this is going to go. I just let me just say my prayers and let me try my best to focus on the blessings that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that could be a form of meditation. I don't know. Everybody's meditation looks different. Um, but after that, I think I was able to just sit still. Like I feel like I had to call my husband, call my children, make sure everybody was okay, and then I was able to like sit still. And it's so weird because I feel like I can
I don't know if I'm frozen or she's frozen. I can't tell. I think the system went frozen on me. She was in the midst of talking about music and what it is, but I'm just gonna go with her thought until she come back. I think music is definitely to me can be therapeutic, and it could be a way to bring you back into your center. I think it's important to find your center so that you're not being drawn all over the place. And it could be through music, it could be through writing. Sister talked about sometimes she did that. Prayer. I mean, for me too, sometimes I just have to pull out the Quran and just read, whatever it is, so that I can be able to have what I need. And sometimes we have to use all the tools that are around us so that we can stay centered to stay on the path that we need to stay on the path. And I think, maybe it's taking a walk or going in nature, whatever we need to do to keep ourselves, what I think of it as calling grounded and centered, is so important so that the noise doesn't distract you, that you have the fortitude to be able to do it. Um, Sister Greer, I don't know. What are you using? What are you doing to be able to keep yourself in there in that moment, the calm moment?
Well, first, I like to try to start off positive. I'm gonna have a bomb day today. You know, I'm gonna get this workout in. I'm gonna take care of A, B, and C. Allah, please protect me in my travels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm so sorry, y'all. I had some difficulties over here. Um, and if I feel it creeping up, you know, I have to still myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, some of those thoughts you just gotta start shaking your head and say, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, or no, Nikki, no, we're not doing this today. I mean, that's just how I maneuver, just to try to stay focused, even in things, like people may say you work out too much. Maybe you should take a break sometime. Why you got to do this? Why you got to? Don't you think you should do it like that? And sometimes I'll say to myself, I'm working out. Are they right? Excuse me. And I was like, no, no, no. Let me keep doing what I'm doing. You can't take really advice from folks who not even doing it. So, just keep doing you, right? I think it's working out just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I just no, not today.
Not today. it had me thinking about, I'm going to go in the Quran a little bit, in constancy, because really you're on you're constant, and all of a sudden something waved you. And it says here in our Quran, the Holy Instruction of the Prophet, in constancy, instruction 8, divine instruction 8. The inconstant feeleth that he changeth, but he knoweth not why. He seeth that he escapeth from himself, but he perceiveth not how. Be thou incapable of change in that which is right, and men will rely upon thee. Establish unto thyself principles of action, and see that thou ever act according to them. And I read that because I remember there was a point where that verse really stuck out to me, because I've heard people say, establish unto thyself principles of action. I was like, well, what is a principles of action? What does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that really mean for me? And I thought about, okay, action, we know that means when I'm moving. So what's the principle that I have when I move? So to your point, when you talk about in the morning, it's like, okay, in my morning forward motion, what principles am I thinking about? I'm thinking about, how do I get myself on high? How do I get some spiritual food in the morning to sustain me? And I really had to think about the actions that I move. What high principles am I holding myself to it? Because the reality is, we know it says nature urges thee to inconstancy. It's not like we're going to be immune to it. These lessons aren't going to shield me that I'll never have it. It's making me aware of what we have and how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, their instructions, step 1, step 2, do this, get that. Do this, do that. So that's how I have to think about it too. It's like, okay, during my part of my day, what's guiding me to keep me on this path, and getting that routine in is important if you can, so that I can stay on the path. But the noise is there. And how do you deal with it?
Yeah. The brother leader, Brother Jones Bay, often says, we have to be careful and mindful of what we listen to, meaning like the music we listen to and what we watch on TV and things of that nature. And some of us are geared towards a certain way of normal living, right? But we're responsible for us. So when I'm driving, I don't listen to gangster rap. I listen to some R&B, some love, some love music, or some good old soul. When I'm at home, I don't watch certain things that would trigger thoughts, or behaviors. I'm real careful with, I heard a sister use this word, low vibrational stuff, right? And I like the term, because you have to be careful about what you feed in yourself.
That's right.
All the way around, mentally, physically, emotionally, and actual food. You have to be careful of what you're putting into you. And I ain't gonna make the mark every time, but the places I can work on, I'm gonna work on them. When I see I'm out of pocket, I'm gonna work on it. When I notice I done made an error, I'm gonna work on it. I don't have an excuse not to. That's what the guide, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, my guide, that's what it does for me. That's how you can block out the noise. Like we discussed earlier, a lot of times those things come from your own self-thinking, because from a thought comes a thought, then another thought. You can say halt at any moment. Replace those negative thoughts with maybe 2 or 3 good ones. You start thinking about something, turn on some music, start thinking about something that makes you sad or unhappy. Like, for instance, my mother passed 11 months ago, and I could feel myself missing her a lot more, because the month she left is coming up. And I noticed that. I didn't realize what was going on at first, but I started noticing it. So every time I start thinking about that, the fact that she's not here, I try to remember what we shared when she was here. Yes, it is difficult, but I do my best. Or I turn on some music, or watch a show that me and her used to like to watch together. Heat of the Night, Madlock, and I try to move on with my day. So it's about what you put in you. Peace.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. I just wanted to some things when Sister Greer Ill was speaking just made me think of some things. And first of all, that workout thing, I literally started. I found, I was telling Sister Reverend Bay about a week or so ago that I found this little path that I like to walk on. And when I tell y'all this, if I ever get up to walking the whole thing, it's almost 9 miles. And I cannot wait to walk the whole thing. But I love doing it. And it's the scenery just helps me focus. It's like you literally only think about Allah when you walking out there, because it's nothing but trees, water, like it's nothing but nature out there, and it's so peaceful. And when I can't, like today, because I usually do it on Mondays and Tuesdays, today I wasn't able to do it because we have like snow and ice and rain and all kinds of stuff up here. So I was like, I'm not going to go out there. But I just felt like that's my way or my place to go for like that peaceful meditation. Now, when I go out there, I don't want to talk. Listen, I don't answer my phone. I don't really want to talk to nobody. I haven't even really listened to music out there. I'm just so focused on nature and so focused on just being in my head, in my thoughts of how I can do things better and be better. So that's definitely a form of meditation, but exercise as well. And I felt myself like wanting to do it even more. My work schedule won't let me do it more than that, but praise Allah, Allah knows best. And then when you were speaking about missing your mom, I had an uncle, my close uncle to me, who was special needs. He passed away last summer, and his birthday is coming up. So, like the past 2 or 3 days, I felt myself thinking about him a lot, and I always feel like I'm not a person that I don't do like I don't cry a lot when people pass away, especially because I feel like I always have to be the strong one at times in my family. So I haven't done that, and I think sometimes I feel like it's necessary um to just let yourself feel that emotion if you need to. But what I have started to do was think about the fun times that I had with him. And I literally will be in the car driving and will think about an interaction him and I had, and will just start cracking up. And I know people be like, what's wrong with her? But I just start laughing because we had so many good times together. Like he was just, like I said, he was special needs, but he was just known for saying some of the oddest things. But he was just so cool. Like I remember him being like the best person to be around. And he, he would never you would never know that, like, if something was bothering him, because he would just like make a joke out of it. You know what I mean? And so he just his memory brings a lot of laughter and happiness to my heart. And so that helps me. That helps me block out some of the noise when I think about the positive times that I had with him.
Yeah. I swear, my mother is the funniest woman that I know. I'm
Praise
telling
Allah.
you, she had me, and I do the same thing. I'll think of something she did or said, and will start cracking up. I'll be in here loud as a mug, just giggling.
Right, right. Praise Allah.
Yeah,
That's a blessing.
yeah.
That's good.
Sister Greer, you want to ask your question?
No, I was gonna say that boundaries too. When we blocking out noise, we have to set boundaries. And y'all already know my hours are 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Tell the people your boundaries, sister. They may not know.
And I mean, I don't understand how anyone who has my number don't know. But anyway, praise Allah. I do that for me for a reason. because before, I mean, everything that was coming in, I needed to be a part of. I don't need to be a part of everything. You know, I love being in my place, quiet, relaxing, in my pajamas. That's my jam. You know,
Mhm.
block out what's out there. I had out there already.
Mhm.
I want what's in here.
Right.
Mhm.
It's deep because I remember joining when I first joined the Moorish Science Temple of America. I believe I was 21. And by that time in my life, I had already been there, done that, seen that.
Mm,
Listen, I was like, I have to make a change. Like enough is enough. And I thank Allah for that. And the Prophet, because being introduced to Islamism in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I honestly feel like today saved my life. Saved my life because I know that I was on a path of destruction. And it was something I'll never forget. My husband, he was my friend back then, but he was like, "Do you think your condition could be better?" And I was like, "Praise Allah! I don't think it can get no worse at this point." And praise Allah, it was some, I talk to my children about it to this day, and I say, I had to go through some things to get to where I am today, and going through those things made me appreciate my life. I'm telling you, and I'm so grateful. But being out there in that world, and I tell my children, I tell my younger cousins and stuff, like them streets out there is not gonna love you the way you think they are. They are not.
well,
That listen, you gotta learn how to block out that noise because that's something else. It is something else. And so, I'm grateful that my children and my husband and myself, we have a place to go on Friday nights. Because back in the day, Friday nights, you was out there in the world, being in the world, of the world, everything that had to do with the world. I'm telling you.
that
And it,
part.
it and it was nothing, it was no saving power. It was nothing positive in that. Man, listen, it was nothing. And just to have a place where you can go or have a Zoom meeting or whatever way that you get on to your meetings and meet with your congregation. Praise Allah for that.
Mhm.
Because you with like-minded people that we all trying to work out the struggle together.
Islam.
And we all are realizing that there is a change that needs to occur. And it starts with self. So
Right.
praise Allah for that.
Islam.
Seriously.
Mhm.
Praise Allah.
I cannot ask my question because my other device overheated, so I had to switch to my phone where my questions are. But if you see them, you could ask.
Okay. Well,
And one of
post.
them actually is kind of mirrors Sister Hawkins' Bay question. I didn't even realize that until she just said it. So Reed, you could jump on the other one.
One of them I see here is when the noise comes, do you identify in or out?
We already went through that.
And then, do you even have noise? It's similar. Do you even have noise in your head? Have you ever had noise in your head? If so, how is it lessened over time? But those are the
Ooh,
questions that I have for you.
praise Allah. I don't know if mine says less. I think that I don't think it has been reduced. I think that I have learned to manage it a lot better. I don't think that and this is just me. I don't feel like the unnecessary thoughts or those trying thoughts, I don't think that they go away. I think that as we grow and unfold, they become a lot more manageable. You're able to identify them and get rid of them
Mm-hmm.
because you, especially if you're studying yourself, and that's me, and it's a blessing because I see someone had put in the comments about reading um the Moorish Quran, and praise Allah for that. I literally I have memorized a lot of the chapters, and so with many different situations, those instructions in there will come to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful for that because first of all, that shows consistency in your reading your literature and studying your lessons. And with that, I'm able to recall on them because when I'm driving or, when I'm doing the children's pickup or at the store, whatever the case may be, I can't just pick up the Quran and read. But praise Allah for holding on and holding fast to those lessons that are in your mind. And praise Allah for having an understanding of those lessons because that's what you need to keep you going. You have to remember Allah much. So therefore, when I can't pick this book up, guess what? I got to have it right up in my head.
Yeah.
You have to. And applying those lessons help with the consistency as well. So praise Allah. Like I said, I don't think that they get reduced or smaller by any means. I think you just learn how to deal with them a lot better. Because like I said before, the more your higher self grows, your lower self is creeping right up with it. So you're gonna have to push it down. You're gonna have to use the tools in the workshop of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah, sister. I agree with you. I don't think it goes away. I think it lessens, but I think that every time it shows up, that lower self shows up, the prophet says, soldier never knows his strength.
Mm-hmm.
It shows up to see what part of the lesson did I figure out? Can I handle it? Can I squash it? Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But the goal is to get better at it. So when it comes up, I can squash it. For me, like I was saying earlier, that morning routine is important for me because it just helps frame the day. I didn't have that before. Quite frankly, I didn't have that before the pandemic. The morning routine controlled me. I didn't control it. I was responding, reacting to the alarm clock, to the children, to the people at the door knocking with this.
Yeah.
I was just responding to emails instead of saying, oh, wait a minute. I don't like this feeling. I don't like this anymore. I don't want to run, my household this way. I don't want to be reactive. And then I'm angry, right? Why'd you, why'd you, we got hurry up. I don't want to do all that, So I think for me, you have to experience things. Like when we were talking about on the streets, you got to experience some things.
Yeah.
Jesus even said it. He said, take me into your dismal crypt so I can learn. He wanted to learn so he can understand and demonstrate how he was able to go through it. And so, it makes me remember, it's like, we got to go through it. I got to go through it so I can then demonstrate the possibilities of Allah in man. That's what the using of the lessons are for, to show us our highest version of ourselves. So, for me, I haven't figured out through all the day, and everything, but the Quran, even, I've shared this before, but I'm a big user of our Facebook, on our social media, and our YouTube, and going back and listening to old meetings, pulling up a day, or, usually on Monday or Sundays, I'm in my temple Sunday school. So I don't know what just happened on the Sunday school on Sunday. So I'll put it on in the morning, and that 15 minutes, I was listening to the leaders speak, about doing good, which has been something that's been on my mind, is we have the power to do good. But are we, how are we using that power? Are we content with the good that's in our reach? And I'll take those bits to say, okay, that's what I need to hear for today. That'll help, keep me in that thought for the rest of the day. But we have to create ways to be able to lessen the noise. Otherwise, the noise can take you over. So whatever it is, I think it's
Yeah.
so important.
Praise Allah.
The prophet teaches us about the tools of the workshop of the mind, and in our Holy Quran, it says that, we use it to chip away at the useless and ungainly parts of ourselves. And that's why we have them, so we can get rid of them. Yeah, we have committees in our head, but they do lessen, I'm a forever wear my armor. I'm a forever wear armor, whatever that means to you, right? But I don't have to polish it so much from it getting nicked and banged up. I don't have to ding out the dents and polish it so much anymore. It stays kind of more clean, more shiny than it did before because I'm using my tools. Yeah, I'm going to fall short, but I don't want to make that an excuse because I got a lower self, because I got a choice. It's when I do fall short, is to notice it and correct myself. And if I get a little blemish on my arm, I just polish it back up. Peace.
She said, I dropped that right there. Okay, sis. Yeah, someone had it here. It's the application. It is, it's not having it. It's the application, the use of these lessons. That's where the divinity comes through for us.
That's so true. Wow.
Go ahead, sister. You got your question?
Who, me?
I thought I saw you looking.
Oh no, I was just going to ask so having this discussion and praise Allah for having our questions so that we can think about these things. What do you feel? How do you feel like it has made your reactions or demonstrations better or easier for how you can deal with the noise moving forward?
Say that one more time for me so I can kind of.
I was saying, since we've had this discussion, how do you think that this discussion has helped you specifically with dealing with the noise or blocking out the noise from here on out, hearing each other of us, all of us speak about it? What have you taken away from it?
I guess to recognize where the noise is coming from, for one. Is it coming from on high or is it coming from low? Because sometimes, no, noise don't come from on high. It just doesn't. But we have to recognize what is with, does it have saving power? How is it going to help me in the next moment? Try to just recognize it and just do better. I mean, every day we got an opportunity to do better, to put more good on the credit side of life. And it's okay to be easy on ourselves, because that's a main one of the main ingredients of blocking out noise is to be easy on yourself. But it's our own. I know that I'm my own worst critic. But I also know that when I lay down, before I lay down at night, and I think of my day, and I ask myself, has what I've done in my day been pleasing to Allah? And if it has not, I know I need to make the adjustments for the error that I made. So that's enough out of me.
I think for me, I'm sorry, Sister Raven Obey.
Go ahead, sis.
I was going to say, I think for me, I think about the things that you both of you sisters speak about, and I see how some of those things happen in my life as well. And it's just deep because I always learn from you all. How you all, because some of you are way more seasoned than me, especially in the movement. And I just feel like at times I can learn so much. But when the sister said she lays down and thinks about her day, something that I've realized recently with myself is I lay down and think about what I got to do when I get up. That's a that's a problem. You know, I think at times, you know, we have to remember that reflection is the business of man. So thinking about what you know, did this particular day, that's awesome. I have to learn how to not feel those pressures of what I have to do as soon as I get up. And it's so deep because I can say these things to other people, like, you know, be grateful and, you know, say your prayers because you might not wake up in the morning. You never know. But for myself, it's like at times I'm thinking about everything I got to do. And I feel like at times you really got to take a moment and just say, relax. It's going to be okay. What you can get done, you will get done. What you can't, it's going to be all right. And I think those, you know, when I asked the question about the pressures and stuff, at times I know that I'm in my own head creating all the noise, all the pressure, all of this extra stuff that is really null and void. Like it's not that deep. And so, and it's crazy because I was thinking about how I haven't been like I wake up like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and then I'm up like all day. And I'm like, what is going on? I have to learn how to turn it off. And I think, I don't know if it's, you know, all the different things, all the different turbans that I wear, but it's like, you got to be able to turn that stuff off because it's not helping you. You're not getting your proper rest. You know, you know you're going to be exhausted. So it's like figuring out how to turn it off, how to block out that noise. Yes, we know when stuff comes to us that is of a different person or, you know, somebody on the outside of us, yeah, we can pay it no mind, or, you know, when we're down in ourselves or things like that. But when you have in your mind that you just are constantly, I don't know, I don't want to say worried, but constantly concerned with the stuff in the next moment and the next morning, and, you know, the children going to school and, you know, work, the stuff that Sister Reverend on Baby was discussing before, that it can be a lot. And I think as sisters, we got to learn how to just be content. Just be content within that moment. So
Yeah.
It's a lot. I'm definitely a work in progress with that. Other things I'm able to like okay, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody come at you, or, you know, you got a lot of other foolishness or whatever going on, you could just easily, for me, I could easily turn that off. Like, I ain't worried about you. Like, it ain't that deep. But when it comes to like the program, how you were saying the morning was running you, man, that starts for me at night. And it's like crazy. I gotta pray on that. I really have to pray on that.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. You were saying, you know, we're talking about that night, and I agree with you both. Someone said earlier about being gracious with yourself and being content. You know, what I'm learning, because it took me a minute, was to be content and look not for reflecting to see not what I did wrong, but also what I did well. And I wasn't doing that. You know, I was not, that's not how I roll normally. You know, I'm the person who's like trying to fix and trying to make it work to the best, right? And when it's done, and I'm moving on, I'm looking for the next thing that needs to get done. I'm not really looking all the time to be thankful and gratitude of what did happen, you know, and being grateful or gracious with even myself. You know, I remember when I had a birthday, and I was, even when I was little, I was like, okay, what things I want to do? I would do it on my birthday, not New Year's Eve. My birthday was the year, like, what is your next year? What are you putting out there to do? And I would write that every year and look, write that every year and look. And there came a point where I was like, this doesn't feel good, because I would look at the list and there were things I didn't do. And maybe do the right decisions that I didn't do it. But I was so focused on fixing instead of being grateful. And so I think even from this conversation, it's just reminding me about just being grateful for what Allah has allowed you to do, for what you were able to control. Definitely, you're going to be your worst critic. You're going to know what you need to fix. But what did you do right? Because if it was my child, I would say, if it was my friend who was having a hard day, I'm like, but you did do that. But you did. You did a great job. I would have no issue saying it to that person. And that would be truly genuine, right? But then when it was me, I'm like, okay, and could you have done these two other things?
Right.
So that's where the noise will sometimes trip me up. And I'm going to read this from the Quran because it made me think, in our chapter of religion, it says, Allah is just and righteous and will judge the earth with equity and truth. If Allah is just, right, and he's going to treat it with equity and truth, shouldn't I treat myself with equity and truth?
Right.
Equally looking for it. And I think when I read that and how he establishes laws of goodness and mercy, and shall he not punish the transgressors thereof? He makes it so that when we are in alignment with him, we're all right. And so I got to kind of always be more balanced in trying to remember that, because I'm one who was like, okay, but that ain't good enough, and part of that from the world will tell you that, it's just, we got to work 10 times as hard just to get a little bit, all that noise starts to feed into you. And you think sometimes you just got to keep doing and doing more and doing more. And, the world to tell you how my kitchen's supposed to look. My kitchen don't look like that on TV, on Instagram, how your children's supposed to be,
Right.
That is noise. And it's you talk about this career. It's like, be careful of the things that you feed into you, because that idea starts to creep up of how you think it should be, but maybe it doesn't have to be that way for you, and so recognizing that we have that, they're good. So that's something I'm working on,
Praise Allah. Praise Allah for the work.
Sister Hoff and Sister Reverend Bay too. I just got to say that I prep for tomorrow, today, so that I can sit on the side of my bed and reflect. But that's because there's nobody else in here but me. It's easy for me to do that. That's why I said we got to be easy on ourselves. Y'all got babies, y'all got school and husbands and jobs and so on and so forth. It's okay. It's okay. You said you think about what you got to do the next day. I don't really do that, because what I got to do the next day, I've already thought about it before I lay down and got it together to the best of my ability. I don't have nobody running around and asking me questions and needing me to feed them and take them anywhere. I don't have that. So that's why I can do that. That's why I say we gotta be easy on ourselves. I think you sisters are doing a beautiful job. And I'm over here looking in, right? I'm just talking about what I see and what I feel in the vibration. I've seen your children, Sister Hawkins, and they look happy and healthy.
Of course, I'm ripping and running, making sure. So I praise Allah.
Yeah, so praise Allah for you both.
But I add this. I know we got to shut down soon. But what made me also think about that morning is that our children are looking at us. So I don't want you to see me this frantic. That's not how I want you to remember your mother. I want you to see me where I got, my higher self is on and I'm calm and I'm gracefully walking through the day, and I think that's why for me it was like, okay, I got to do something different, because we are. Thank you, sister, for that wonderful compliment. But again, I'm like, I got to do better,
Right.
And how am I showing them? Because I'm the footprint that they're going to pattern, whether they choose to or not. That's what they're going to see. And so I got to keep working on myself.
Praise Allah.
There's always room for improvement for us all.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Honest to both of y'all. Islam.
Any closing thoughts before we end our show?
Yes, don't be afraid to call your Moorish nieces and nephews and tell them to find their shoes the night before so we don't have to have that problem in the morning.
You know what? That's true. Tell them, are you staying on the path and helping them?
Right. I'm telling you, praise Allah. But I honest to everybody who tuned in, honest to both of you, just honest to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Praise Allah.
Yes, thank you all for tuning us and joining us back in our season 8, on our 8th season, excuse me. This has been a really great discussion. It's so good to see you all like this again.
That's right. Praise Allah.
We miss you, Sister Britt Bay.
We do. Yes. Say again, Sister Britt Bay. Well, thank you, viewers, for being with us as we close out our first show of season 8. On Friday, you will be able to watch the Holy Day meeting. I'm telling you, you got to watch it. 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you miss it, it's okay. It'll be there on you. Or you can go back on Facebook or YouTube and find it and get your Moorish soul food that you might need. On Sunday, we have our Sunday school at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But this is an exciting week because we're kicking off the new season. And on this Wednesday, Brother and Sister Adams Bay are going to have their Universal Love Show at 7 p.m. Eastern. I just took a peek. The topic is seeing the Allah in man. I mean, that's a wonderful conversation. So make sure you come in on that. And next week on Wednesday, Sakara Sacred Healing will kick off their season as well. So we thank you all for being a part of this show and experience with us. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Peace.